Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing a book review video. I have 3 books and 2 of them are, I have 5 books in total. 2 of them are ebooks and 3 are regular books. So I'm going to get right into it with a trilogy that I read. It's a V.C. Andrews trilogy, and it starts off with Dahlia's Crossing. It's by V.C. Andrews. Like I said, this is what it looks like. And that's not the number, that's just, I think that's just how much I paid for it, because this is the one that's the first one in the series, because it's first in an all new series. And this is one of her most recent books, or one of their most recent books. It's from 2008, and I could never find these books anywhere. I looked in all the book sales, everything, and I did not want to buy them on a Kindle, but I did. So the first book is about, I think that's how you say her name, Dahlia or Delia. I don't know. I just kept saying Dahlia. But anyway, it's about Dahlia. It takes place after her quinceanera, and her parents died, and her grandmother can't take care of herself and her granddaughter at the same time. So she goes to live with this horrible aunt who makes her be like the maid, the help, instead of like a cousin to her 2 cousins. Her female cousin is horrible to her, and her male cousin is nice to her. And eventually they find out that she's their cousin, but she's still treated badly and stuff like that. And here she like, there's a lot of triggers in this book and in this whole series. So if you're really triggered by stuff, um don't read these books. But anyway, something horrible happens to her where her cousin rescues her, and then eventually she meets this guy in her ELS class that she has in the school. And her and this guy named Ignacio decide they want to go back to Mexico. They want to go back and stay there in Mexico because something happened in the book where Ignacio gets in trouble and he has to make his way back to Mexico for a little bit because of what horrible thing that he did, and with his friends. And she decided she wants to go back with him. And so that's basically how the book ends, is her back in Mexico. And then her cousin writes her a letter saying, hey, if you come back, everything will be better. And so she decides to go back because she doesn't want to marry this guy that she was supposed to marry before she knew Ignacio was here, or before she knew what happened to Ignacio, which was when they were crossing back into Mexico. Something happened where the guy that was helping him across, I forget what he was called. He said when he went back that way, he found that Ignacio was dead. But here he was really alive, and he's going to stay there to make enough money to come back to California and stuff like that, where she lives. The second book was called Dahlia's Heart, I think it was. Yeah, Dahlia's Heart. And this one is mostly about, she has a conflicting problem. And the whole book, it's basically, she comes back, she goes to a different school, she doesn't live in the shack that her aunt had her in, all this stuff. She hangs out with her cousin, Edward, and not her other cousin, Sophia, who is still horrible. The one character in this whole series that was really annoying was Sophia, her cousin. And I just hated it because I'm just like, can't something happen to her to make her like, get her like just desserts, that type of thing? Because she was so annoying in the books. Like, I just wanted, if I was this girl in the book, I would have just probably have just like, I don't know, like punched her in the face or something like that. I don't know. But that character was so annoying. I was like, come on, like something has to happen to her somewhere in the book that makes her realize that she has been a bad person and she needs to like figure out if she wants to stay like that or not. But anyway, the second book is kind of like a love triangle type of thing where Dahlia still loves Ignacio. He's still in Mexico. He doesn't have enough money yet to come here. And then she meets this guy who's running for senator's son, who I think he's like in his 20s and she's only like 16 or 17 now, I think. I think that's what it is. And anyway, the whole book is just basically like she wants to be with this guy, but she wants to be with Ignacio. Nobody knows that Ignacio's really alive except for her. And here she ends up going back to Mexico because she really wants to see Ignacio. And she takes her cousin with her and his boyfriend with them. And here, when she gets to see Ignacio, these cops come because they were told um, that they knew where he was and blah blah blah. And here it was Sophia who did it, and not her, but Ignacio thinks it's her to get money or something like that. I don't know. And so he's ended up back at the States now, getting seeing what's happening, what his jail sentence is for doing what happened in the first book. And then nobody wants to be with her. Nobody wants to be her friend. Nobody in here. This guy, his name was Adan, but I called him Aiden. I don't know if it's Aden or Aiden. I don't know, but that's what I called him. So here, he still wants to be with her. And they end up going on this boat ride, and something happens on the boat ride that seals what happens in the last book. But anyway, this horrible storm comes and he dies. And she ends up going to this mental clinic, and that's where she finds out that she's pregnant with Aiden's baby. And then the next book, which is Dahlia's Gift, is actually about her pregnancy, and somebody does something in her pregnancy to make her not be able to take care of the baby. And it was, that book had a lot of trigger warnings in it too. The second one really didn't, I don't think, but the third one did. And it's basically like she has to get her son back, and it's just nice. It's kind of like a wrap-up story, but I always thought, because V.C. Andrews books are really like out there, so I thought that like her and her cousin would get together because they seemed like they had like a loving relationship, kind of. I mean, I know that, I mean, he was gay, her cousin, but I felt like he would have just ended up being like, hey, like, you can stay with me anyway, that type of thing. I don't know. That's just what I felt to me anyway. I don't know. So this next book is an Easter book, and it's called Holy Terrors. It's by Mary Deheim, and it's a bed and breakfast mystery. I know my last book review video, I did one of these books before, and this one was good. I did another one where I think the first one I read was Foul Prey, which was it took place around Thanksgiving, and I just like when mystery books have punny titles in it, I guess. So this is Holy, like Holy Terrors, and this is what it looks like. And I feel like the like, it's like, even like it's just funny, you know what I mean, like the cover's funny with the rabbit. I don't know. Here comes Peter Choppingtail, that's what it says on the bottom. But anyway, it's about this woman. Her name's Judith, and she is going to the church to help with this Easter egg thing for the kids and stuff like that, getting ready for Easter. And here, when she leaves, this man tells her that, oh, weren't you just at the church? And she says, yeah. And she says somebody died in the church, and they don't know who or what happened. And the person that died, this book was really out there to me. Like, I feel like it was just a wacky book in general. Like, you have to read this book, I'm telling you, because it was a random book. Like, even the last two ones that I read by this author and this in this set were not as weird as this book. So basically, this woman dies in the nursery because that's where she was. She was like taking care of the kids while they were prepping for the Easter egg hunt, and she dies. And when they do her autopsy, they find this interesting little detail that nobody in the town knew about. And at the end of the book, the person that did it explains why. And then she has to tell him, the guy or the person that did it, um that they weren't doing that for that reason. It was because they were blah 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 blah. And it was a nice book. It was a short book. Like, it was, to me, it was short. But oh my gosh, like, this book was real. It felt like it was like one weird thing and then another weird thing on top of that. It was just so crazy, you guys, this book. So this book is the Outlander book, and I read the Outlander series. I get the series on DVD when it comes out because I don't have HBO or Stars or whatever channel it comes on. And this is the sixth book. Yeah, the sixth book. And it's called A Breath of Snow and Ashes. It's by Diana Gabaldon. Gabaldon. I don't know how you say her last name, but this is what it looks like. It is long, you guys. Like, it's like, I think I started reading this at the beginning of this month of March, and yeah, it has 1,439 pages and 124 chapters, and then there's 2 epilogues. So what I thought was, when I read the last book, which was A Fiery Cross, I thought, okay, so this book is gonna be, the next book is probably gonna be like the setup. Like, the next book is probably gonna be before the war happens, before the War of Independence starts, that American Revolution, I should say. And then the next book, the 7th book, would be about the war. That's what I thought. But actually, it's starting now. What happens, like, I think it's like 3/4 of the book is like the prelude to the war. And then the last fourth of the book, I think, is going to be the American Revolution. I didn't finish the book yet, but I wanted to get this done. This book review done because I'm not gonna have any time to do it because of the holidays coming up and stuff like that. But the last fourth of the book is about the American Revolution, or it's the start of it, because they were just starting like the battle at Lexington and Concord. And a lot of stuff happens in this book that like, I know it's a long book, and like I said, it's taking me like this whole month to read it. But that was just because I read 4 other books with it. So what I did was, so I didn't like read the whole thing or whatever. Like, I took a break from it because I knew it was long books. Like, every time I came to a part in the book, a new part in the book, I read a different book. And then eventually, when I got done, I was like, you know what, this is gonna take me a while to read, so I'm like, I might as well just finish reading it. There is a lot of things that happen in this book. Something happens with Fergus and Marcelly where they have to leave. Something happens with Jamie that you can't really believe, but a part of you, I think, would, basically, if you read the whole books. There are trigger warnings in this book too, like in the beginning, the first part. I think the first or second part in the beginning, there's a lot of like trigger warnings and stuff. Something happens with Lizzie that is kind of shocking to me too. Like, there's stuff that happens in this book that you like. It's like, you know, these characters like your whole life. You know, you watch the show, you read the books, and my favorite character, I don't know why, besides like the main characters like Jamie and Claire, is Fergus. I don't know why. I think it's because like I like Fergus in the book because he's hot. On the show, because he's hot when he's like the adult version, not the young version. You know, that would be kind of creepy. But where it's like you feel like you know these characters your whole life. You could be friends with them, and then this book, it turns it upside down in your head. All the characters, you're like, oh, sweet Fergus, he was so cute as a little kid and whatever. And this thing that happens in this book, you're like, what? Like, he could really do that? Like, no. Same thing with Ian, Jamie's nephew. He has a new side to him, and it's just like all the people that you know, I feel like in this book just get turned upside down. Like, that's what I feel like. And the other thing I feel like, which I don't know because I had a feeling, I was like, when the war happens, I felt like somewhere along the lines in the war, this is like my hypothesis is, or like even like in the rest of the series. My hypothesis is that somewhere, whether it's in this war or whatever, I feel like Jamie and Lord John Grey are gonna have to like have a battle to the death or something, because that's just how I feel. Like I feel like he's just because that's like his like best friend kind of, I guess. And I mean, aside from all the stuff that happened in their relationship, but I feel like that's what it is. Like, I feel like somewhere in one of the books, he is going to have to like do something where he's gonna have to either like not be friends with John Grey anymore or kill him or something, or vice versa. You know what I mean? But that was my book review video. Sorry it took me like the whole month to finally do this. It was just because this book's really long, and I read all these other ones. But that was my book review video for this month. I'll see you guys next time with another video, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.